So my name's Hank. I'm based in Australia. I'm a Taiwanese and moved to Australia months ago. And before that, I was in New Zealand.
And I'm Kristina, and I'm Russian. I used to live in my country for about 20 years, and then I moved to Taiwan for study, and now I'm here for over 5 years.
So do you have some cross-cultural relationship or cross-cultural dating experience in Taiwan, or maybe when you were in Moscow?
Oh, yeah, I actually had, I used to date Taiwanese and Ukrainian. And back in Russia, I also met not Taiwanese, but Chinese. So it's pretty diverse experience. Yeah. But we're talking about serious relationships, not just dating. Yeah. Like you go on 1-2 days and that's it.
Yeah. I just want to put it out there so we don't feel we might offend anyone. Whatever we say right now, it's just purely sharing the experience we had in the past. And since we don't know each other's whole dating history, so we don't know who we are talking about. So we can feel feel more feel safer to share. Does that make sense?
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. I'm actually curious about what's the biggest difference between how Russians, Taiwanese, or even other nationalities date.
Okay, so for me, I think that in Russia, dating often moves with a certain, all-in intensity, right? And we have less of Western talking phase or the Taiwanese group hanging out phase. And traditionally, it is quite polarized, I would say, because so the man, he's expected to be in the active pursuer or provider phase. When you go on a date, you have to bring flowers, you have to pick her up, you have to pay, right? And while woman, she's expected to get ready, be beautiful, and be just in her feminine energy, But I think that in Taiwan, it is still there, not in such big amount. Maybe in Taiwan it's 50% less. Because sometimes you go on a date and you see a guy fully prepared, also with the flowers, being ready to provide for you and be ready to not split the bill. But it's a matter of chance, I would say. And I think that in Australia, it's probably different because I heard more of 50-50 paying system, if I say so. But yeah, in Russia, where most of the times, very, very often, you are provider and girl is your just feminine person who is there to be beautiful, to listen to you, and to support you in the future if you choose to be with her. But if you are not, then, well, it's fine.
Yeah, in Australia, it's definitely 50-50, more equal. Yeah, I guess being a Taiwanese, I don't have much dating experience in Taiwan, but I would say that in Taiwan, girls kind of expect you to contribute some sort of dinner or buying stuff. You can definitely feel the pressures, but in Australia, I never really feel the pressure.
You said that girls in Taiwan, they have to provide some buying stuff, but that's probably not in your honeymoon phase of the relationships yet, I hope.
Oh no, I mean it's just when you go on a date with a person. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. But I think in Russia it will be considered as a red flag. If you didn't buy flowers, or if you expect a girl immediately to do splitting the bill. Some of them, I know even few of my friends, and me including, on one of the date, I just walk away. I'm like, okay, you want me 50-50? You could have just said that you are not ready to pay for all of this, and you just walk away. Because, for us, it is important to understand that guy, he didn't come just to enjoy and have fun, that he already has some thoughts in his mind, and that he at least has a vision of you both together so that he can provide starting from the beginning. Because to me, personally, I think for men, because we live in the, unfortunately, world where money matters, So if a guy can provide and invest in a girl immediately with his money, which is valuable thing in his life, right? He's kind of doing a transaction. I don't like to call it that way, but there is a transaction for girls' beauty and for girls' time and use. So she contributes this part and he contributes that part. And if a girl sees that he is ready to contribute this, she will also invest her time right now. But yeah, if a guy says to you, let's split the bill, you're like, okay, so shall we become a roommate soon, starting from now?
I find that's really, I think, I find that's a little bit, how would you say that? I find it's funny, okay? Because like in Russia, right, the economy is not as good as the Western countries. And then in Australia, it's like people are more, like people are wealthier, but people still prefer 50-50. And then in the harsher environment, people are like, no, you have to pay. So it's like, wait, how? Right?
Yes, yes, that's the
And then
deal.
sometimes I find that sometimes I find that it's it, if you're a guy in a country that not in the country, more like in a society that woman asks you to be a provider. I mean, you have to be more competitive, and not every person is like that. So that can be pretty harsh.
It is, it is.
Mm.
I think this is why Russian men, they're like considered to be really tough, especially
Yeah,
when it comes to business.
yeah.
Because, yeah, most of them, I think, motivated, first of all, yeah, for self
Mm.
growth, for like buying cars, for traveling, and all of this. But second off is that, yes, they know that they're their girlfriend or wife who they have to provide to. So, yeah, the motivation is huge, to be honest.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Let's go to the next one. So, what is considered romantic in one culture that's a red flag in another's?
Well, in Russia, just as I mentioned, guys are must come to the date with flowers. And I think in Taiwan, it's even not a rule, it's really, really somewhere on the background of man's head that, oh yeah, men probably in Western culture bring flowers, but like not here. And I even didn't see guys like walking on the street with flowers. Because, like, for instance, in Russia, when it's Valentine's Day and you walk in the
Yeah,
streets in Moscow, you will see so many guys holding flowers. Like, so they go to their girlfriend to I wanted to speak Chinese, 送给她, to give her a present. Or you
yeah.
see a girls who walking with
Mm,
flowers already happy, enjoying their
mm.
life. And here in Taiwan, you just go out of your apartment, you see the all gray streets and Taipei raining, and you see girls also like raining. You're like, where's the beauty? Where's happiness?
So, if if a guy you would go on date with, he doesn't bring the flower, that means that's a red flag.
Yeah, that's a red flag.
Okay,
I mean, why did you even come? Well, are you sure you like me?
okay,
Let's say that's
interesting.
maybe I put it too harsh way, but at least that's a good tone of your manners. Like if you bring
Yeah.
flowers to girl, that's really a good tone here in Taiwan. But in Russia, it's a must-have.
And are you dating any Taiwanese, or you date Taiwanese guys if you see that's a red flag? Because you probably have to prepare your mentals. Like, oh no, this person probably not going to make any efforts.
Yep, 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 yep. I mean, yeah, that's how it happened. But you don't just judge by flowers, right? Then you
Yeah.
also judge by a conversation. So in my
Mm.
experience, somehow it aligns. If a guy doesn't bring flowers and then you talk deeper with him and you're like, well, yeah, he doesn't really think deep about relationships and he probably here just for like having fun. And then you just like after one dinner saying, okay, let's split the bill. Bye. I'll never see you again.
Oh, yeah,
What
that's a
about
solid plan.
what about your
I mean, here red flags. I think that I find that in Taiwan, the dating culture is more. I think not just in Taiwan. I think even in some of the Asians in Australia, if you want to commit to a relationship too fast and then you talk about futures too early, that is a red flag here. But it's not a red flag in most of the dating scenes in Taiwan. It's like people. know that you have a plan. That's a signal of like, okay, you are not just here for the short term entertainment. You are here for the long game. But in Australia, it's kind of like, oh, you're not doing enough assessments.
Mm.
So it's like, you are needy. So that's a difference.
I think partially I would agree, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if a guy is seeing you only second time in his life, or even first time on the first day, he'd be like, "I'm gonna marry you." You're like, "Are you sure? Did you even think about it?" But I think
Mm.
it's normal after you date at least 4 months or two to say like, "Oh, I'm kind of seeing us together." So it's also a matter of time when you say this. Definitely don't say it on the first or second date. Don't say this to girl. You're gonna freak her out.
Yeah. Yeah. But everyone is different, right? Some would say like, I want to have a family. And they say that on the first day. And the other would like, oh, that is a red flag. It's too early to ask. But for some,
Oh,
it's not.
really?
So it
But
really
it's
depends on
normal.
the person, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that when someone asks you a question like whether you want to have family, you shouldn't put the pressure on yourself. I think it's just simply that person want to make sure that you have an aligned goal rather than just like, hey, I want to start a family with you. No, that's not the end goal to look at the questions. It's more about like, hey, this is what I'm looking for. If you're aligned, yes, we can keep going. If not, then maybe you should just stop here,
Just, yeah,
right?
change to
Rather than
another
like,
one.
hey, do you want to, you should, rather than, hey, let's imagine our family would look like. That's not what the other person means. But yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. And also, exactly, like you don't really have to become a family
Mm.
with this person, right? You're just saying that in general, I'm ready to have a family, and let's see how it
Yeah.
goes with us together.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
really
how did
interesting.
you assume about dating? For example, dating Asian guys, maybe someone from Taiwan or from China or Japan, Korea, before you actually did it? Were you?
So, with no offense, right?
Yeah.
I think before I started dating Taiwanese guys, right? So I also heard many times that oh, Taiwanese guys they're ma bao, right? So like
You need to
mama's
explain
son,
Mama. Okay,
mama's son.
Mama
It is
boys, Mama boys. Yeah.
someone who's like too soft, too dependent on his mother's opinion, mother in general,
Mm.
right? And
Yeah.
yeah, unfortunately, some of my foreigner girl friends, female friends, they also say this to me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so I'm going to the dating culture pretty biased in here. And I
Okay.
was
In
hoping
your
that
experience, that is true or not true?
in my experience, that was not true. Okay,
Okay.
maybe only one guy who I didn't date for a long time. It was just a 1-2 dates and then we didn't continue, right? Because really, ma bao. But other guys, even with who I didn't continue to the relationships, but still dating, it feels different. And maybe because they're ABC also, that could be.
Uh, yeah. The
That could
Western
be a
one.
difference. Yeah, they are more
Mm.
masculine. They are more like dominative, if you put it that way. So
Yeah.
they don't rely on their mother's opinion, and they truly see the vision, what they want for you, what they want for themselves, and
Mm.
they want to guide you through the relationships. And I find it kind of sexy, like when a guy really knows what he's about regarding to you, that
Yeah.
I can rely on this guy. I can calm down a little bit. Because girls every
Mm.
day they also have to manage so many things. And
Mm.
if a guy coming to your life and can take off your shoulder like one of the tasks, which is like, hey, what is the direction? And yeah, you can trust him. I think that's a
Yeah.
very positive sign.
Understand what you mean. Like, you want to be late rather than like, oh, I have to come up plans for us. And so sounds like when you see a guy who has a plan for the for both of you, you feel like it's pretty refreshing. I and it's kind of like pretty hard.
And it's relieving. It's
Yeah.
really
Okay.
relieving because you
Okay.
don't want to be manager for the entire life, and you don't
Okay.
want to be his manager, because
Uh,
there is a pretty subtle edge, I think, in the moments like no one is saying that as a girl you stop planning everything at all. No. You're still contributing to relationships, right? But you have to do this in a very accurate way, because like the moment when you start overdoing, that's the moment when you start to be like taking the control of his part in the relationships to be a leader. And I think a healthy guy, with even respect to his woman, he will not want to like fully follow his woman. So he is the leader and you are the follower, yes, but you're also a contributor, and you give these crazy ideas. Oh, let's go there, let's go here, let's eat something here. And I think that's the beautiful, combination, when a girl just proposes idea and the guy can process it and structure.
Right.
I think that's really cool.
I get it. Like each person has a role in the relationship. So you like, in summary, you do find that this not necessarily true. It's like mama boys can happening to meet a mama boy, that can happening anywhere.
That's true.
That
I
is,
think in Australia you also have mama boys, maybe less than in here.
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question, because I haven't. Most of my
Dated
guy
any guy?
friends, yeah, but like most of my guy friends, they are pretty independent and pretty tough. Yeah. And then most of my Taiwanese guys friends are like that too, but in a different way. I find like my Taiwanese friends, they are softer, but can be seen overly gentle. But my Aussie friends, they are kind of like more independent, and then sometimes even more direct, more blunt, and they can be seen overly rude, or depends which how angle you look at it.
Yeah, I think it also like a major part comes from culture, because like in Taiwanese culture, what I also experienced back in university, like you're not really allowed to go side jobs and do something that will allow you to enter this independency mode. Like my professor, he just said that you have to work in the lab, which is, there is nothing bad with this, but back in Russia, I used to work on 2 side jobs and also doing my bachelor. So that is also something that shaped me and my vision of life, that, hey, money isn't very easy and I have to be more independent and I have to do this, that, and I don't have actually anybody to rely on. So that's the moment when independency comes, I think. And another thing which is different in Taiwan and Russia, that we're more direct. We don't really care what we say. We just say what we think is true in our opinion and what is probably true. But here, I think people trying to more like preserve their face to be good, polite, but the scary part that they're just not afraid to say something which is not true on your back. Behind your back, they will be talking.
You can't
But
feel
in front, no.
from them. So, what is the dating norm back home that completely confused your foreigner boyfriend or partner?
I think splitting the bill is something that is confusing.
Here we go again.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, but you kind of heard my opinion on that. Yeah, some people, they were really confusing, and you just don't see those people again, at least in my experience. But yeah, I'm curious how is this in Australia. Like some confusion, because you came from a Taiwanese culture and then you lived there.
Confusions would be people are very forward, and then if they like you, you know. But sometimes it can be too much, and then you don't know whether this person is serious or just want to play around. I guess that's the confusions that often occur, at least to me.
How to overcome this confusion?
Just keep meeting more people, and then ask your Australian friend. It's like, hey, this happened. Could you give me some advice? But I'm an engineer, so most of my engineer friends, they would often reply me, so, well, I don't have much exposure of what you just experienced, so maybe you should ask female.
Please decide on yourself.
Yeah. So I think like often get confused would be this person is interested in you, but to the label, I just want to keep hanging out with you, and then not like, hey, I want to be with you, because the dating in Australia has different stages, and in Taiwan it's more like, oh, do you like each other? okay, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend. And then I don't know, because I left home for many years. I don't know whether there's a stage called seeing each other's. I think in Australia that's that's pretty that's that's a it's a stage that people flirt with each others and then do the things that boyfriend girlfriends would do, but just not official. But in Taiwan, I just never really saw that. So that's another
Interesting.
thing that there's a gap there.
Yeah. At least not official. And I never heard that they would name it, oh, we're seeing each other or we're moving to the next stage and something something. It
Yeah,
just, yeah, as you said, I think it's more direct. Like, we kind of like each other. Let's date immediately.
yeah. So that's the confusing part. Okay. Um, how did your partner react when you? Sorry, how did your parents react when you brought a foreigner boyfriend back home, or like when you on a call and talk about, hey, you're dating someone who is not Russian with your parents?
Oh, well, in my case, I never took a guy to my home because yeah, it just never happened. I apparently live too far to take a guy. Too
The
expensive.
international shipment fees is just too expensive.
Unless I cut him and, just put in my suitcase and take his
Yeah.
baggage. But yeah, anyway, so I never brought a guy to my home. When I talked to my parents that, oh, hey, I have an international guy. So the opinions, they split drastically because my mother, she's more like, soft and feminine and she's acceptable, right? So of course you would expect from her, oh, I'm so happy. Like, if you're happy, I'm happy too. Like, how he behaves. So she would just ask like basic questions, how he treats me, and maybe subconsciously like analyze whether it aligns with her vision or not. But as long as I'm happy, most of the time she says, okay, it's good. Then it fits you. I'm happy that you're happy. But for my dad, I think he's more analytical. And most of the Russians that there are like that. They want the best for their daughters. They don't want their daughters to like go with a broke guy, with a stupid guy, with immature guy. So
Yeah.
he would really ask me many, many questions. And sometimes he's asking to like send a picture because I don't know how he
Send a
does this,
picture.
but yeah, not the pictures that you're thinking about.
All right, hold on. So that's your dad wants to check him down, right?
I think, because he used to learn a lot of psychology. So when he sees someone's face, I don't know how he does this, but there is a scanner in his brain, and he's like immediately saying something about this person, which is true. And that scared me so many times.
So he's kind of a good interrogator.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, send me his picture. Don't tell me anything yet. Send me his picture. And then he's like saying something, the qualities of this guy, he'll describe it. And then I'm like, well, somewhere it is really true. And then I will just correct him, I don't even have to say anything. I'm just correcting him, whether it's true or not. But yeah, if my dad doesn't like the guy, then it's hard to convince him that he's a good guy or something. That is tough. But that is
he has his
protective
own
also.
opinions.
Oh yeah.
Sounds
Russian
like it's
men,
very
they
hard
have
to get
opinion. I'm telling
approval.
you, they're tough.
Yeah.
What about Australia or Taiwan?
Dude, my situation is pretty abnormal, so I don't really have a chance to take someone take someone to visit my parents. Yeah. So when I talk about I went on a date with different nationalities with my friends in Taiwan or in Australia and New Zealand. It's like people here, they just like they have no reactions. They just like no, they have no how would you call that? They are pretty open minded. Probably because it's an immigration countries, right? And then but back home, people ask me some strange questions. It's like they have some stereotypes, and then they will confront with me, are those true or not? For example, like let me say, are Westerners more independent and then are more demanding, and are how do you think about? Do you miss do you miss how Taiwanese girls treat their boyfriends? Because we all know that Taiwanese girls are very soft and very gentle, so ask me those questions. I find that it's funny because we all know that this cultural barrier is true, but we are all human. If you remove the construct, we are all the same.
Yeah.
So, do you think your culture makes it harder or easier to date foreigners?
In some ways, I think it does make difference, you know? Because again, we're coming to the concept of like who is the provider in family and who has to take the responsibility of family. Because in
Mm,
Russia, it's obviously like when you start dating a guy, he's contributing more for sure, if not 100% in family expenses. But here in Taiwan, I don't know. It's like really strange, and you kind of have to make sure that your vision aligns with the guy's vision. And yeah, so the culture difference doesn't break the love barrier between you, love connection, right? Instead of making it barrier. So yeah, I think this is something that you communicate and communicate as sooner as possible because when there is an attachment formed and then you're like, so I'm actually expecting you to fully pay. And he's like, oh, really? But this is not in my culture. I'm not used to this. And yeah,
mm,
some friction will definitely happen. So as soon as you start dating, I'm including this actually into my dating list questions, like, hey, so how do you expect to provide for the family and how do you expect your female partner to contribute? Because this is big question.
okay. I think like from a Taiwanese perspective, that's a lot of pressure. And then even for people here, they will. I believe some of my friends would think that, oh wow, that's a heavy topic for the first couple of days. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, now you guys have a very, how to say, big pressure from parents also. Like, oh, did you find a job? Did you get an education? Did you find a girlfriend? Blah, 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 all of this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We certainly have that pressure from our elders.
Yeah, but should be fine from the other aspects of life, right? Like, I mean, it's not about religion. It's not about like different traditions, events, or something.
Mm. Yeah.
Because I didn't find it so far, like living here for 5 years, I don't think that there's a problem in religion or like some things that you used to do. It actually can be balanced with what Russian usually do
Mhm.
in activities. Yeah.
Mm. I think that in terms of traditions, I think that is manageable, but aligning values, that is the most difficult part because like uh, some of the values that we have, it's kind of deep in our root, right? And
Hmm.
then I believe that most of us, we grew up with the values, and some of us even have traditions in our families, and then we will do it whether the other person like it or not, right? And then, but we also kind of respect that, okay, if this is a tradition, you keep doing it, but just as long as you don't affect me. But when it comes to values, that affects two peoples, right? Some traditions you don't necessarily affect the other person.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was also thinking that in Taiwan, it feels like you guys don't start dating. Like, I mean, seriously thinking about family, sorry, until you got like your stable job, until you move out
Yeah.
from your parents, or if you have your own house, something like this, right?
Yeah,
So,
if a
I,
guy who is serious about relationships and dating,
yeah,
like
then,
that person usually will wait. But if that person just want to have fun, then maybe they have a different behaviors. If you have a if you want to have families, usually you wait until you feel like, oh, you have you.
I'm pretty stable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because I did a kind of did similar things when I first immigrated to New Zealand. Thought about, ah, I gotta, I gotta, I gotta, I gotta prepare myself first, and then put myself out later. But right now, my goal is having a stable life in the foreign countries, and then family will come after.
It's good,
Yeah,
yeah, because I don't think in Russia we have like such solid thinking. And I see many friends of mine getting married like before even 20, and some of the people they're getting married before 25. So 26, 27 is also still peak of the marriages happening in Russia, but like really many, many couples become before 25. And I'm like, okay, because living here,
Mm.
it also made me think as Asian. And I'm like, okay, but you don't have a stable job. You didn't move out
Mm.
from your parents, or you don't have your own house. So how are you even supposed to like provide to your kids? Because you're already not just two independent people. You're dependent and you have a kid. So that's what really scares me when I think back to my culture. And here in Taiwan, I think a few friends of mine, they are dating more mature guys. Because, for instance, in Russia, for a girl, if you're 25, then, oh, you're probably out of market already. You're too old, even to have
Mm.
kids. And yeah, I think biology says different, especially right now with all the medicine. But anyway, so at 25, you are kind of already out of market. So the girls who come here, they would find a more mature guy who is also already aligned his job and his all the other things in life. And then they become a couple, then they create a healthy marriage. And I find it's really beautiful that these two, how to say, like our two culture, that all girl has to marry before 25, and here in Taiwan, mature guy is already ready for marriage. They can be combined like this way, because
Mm.
provides stability.
Possibilities. That's the right
Hmm.
word. Wow. And then how are they? How are they doing well?
Yeah, they're doing
In their
well. They
marriage.
have
No, I
beautiful
mean
kids.
the one who younger who marry young.
I think they marry with a difference like 5 to 7 years, So it's
Mm.
for me at least, it's also acceptable. Because, yeah, everything that's under 10 years. And I mean, also, like when we speak of numbers, we're just naming numbers. You can be 35, but you are still immature and you think like 15 years old child. So
Mm.
it depends on the person who you find. Yeah, but most of the times I find that age is just numbers, and
Yeah, I
the
totally agree
important
with
is
you.
whether you align, right?
Yeah, totally agree with you. But age gap still kind of affect us, right?
It
Sometimes
can affect.
for relationship. And then is there something that you can only express in your native languages that doesn't translate?
Hmm, let me think about it. Because I think we have concepts, not like the sentence, but we have some concepts like dusha or soul, right? In Russia we say dusha. And I find Russian people like, how to say, very deep in our thoughts, and we want to build like really meaningful connections with our partner or also with our friends. And we love to talk about deep stuff. It's not like in America, I heard that people like short talking. It's not the thing in Russia. Like if you ask a person, hey, how are you? You have to
Mm.
reply. You really like start pouring your soul, because you
Mhm.
expect another person that he didn't just ask like to ask. He's asking because he's genuinely curious. And that's when the moment of your even friendship starts. Because it's funny that back in my university, I met a really good friends through deep conversations. Like the more you unfold to that person
Mm.
and you see the same unfolding from that side,
Mm.
and you're like, damn. So that's when the true connections
Yeah.
start to build. So for us, it's really important to express your dusha to
Mhm.
other person and understand that they're on the same wave, you're on here, and yeah, you just build this something really deep, which is beautiful.
Mm.
I
So
never
yeah,
had this here in Taiwan, you know, and I really miss it.
why do you think is that? It's because people are afraid of expressing their opinions,
Yeah, I,
or
I
they just
think,
don't have the mindset of, oh, I need to have the depth to share what I have.
yeah, because most of the people here, I think that they're okay to talk about their hobbies, they're okay to talk about their jobs, but they never truly open up. They never show
Mhm.
themselves. And again, probably it comes from the culture wherein you have to preserve your face, and they're like, okay, if I say this, like maybe that person will use it against me. But in Russia,
That's a
we
good
just,
point.
yeah, but we don't care. Because
Mm.
if we trust that person, right? We can open up. If we don't trust that person, we don't open up. If that person betrays you, well, the consequences will happen. Definitely.
Consequences will happen. That sounds pretty intimidating. Well, I get your
Yeah,
point.
I mean, nothing bad happened. Just
Yeah,
you know, yeah, because we are also taught in Russia that you have to, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
don't speak too much, right? So something that you don't want to other people know, then well, you will not say it. So yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
open up, but yeah, something you still keep. Probably it came from the USSR times. And yeah, the second is we thought that, yeah, the consequences, just as I said, they will come for your words. So you have to be responsible for what you're saying.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's
Well, I actually like
really big thing in Russia.
I would appreciate someone have a deep conversations with me and then to build a connections from there rather than like just talk about what happens in my life in the superficial way and then like don't bother whether this person will stay or not. I would really prefer to have a deep conversation and then use that as a filter to bring the right people into my life and then make sure that relationship it's a like takes a long way rather than just like hey transactional.
Yeah, I think you will definitely have it because I remember we had a few deep conversations too. So you have this ability, you have this talent. You just gotta find people.
Yeah, exactly. And then do you feel more yourself or less of yourself when dating someone from a different culture?
That's a good question because we don't want to sound racist, right?
Yeah.
And there is no difference for me, honestly. It just depends on me, myself. This is what I realized recently. Because before, yeah, I was more independent. Then I probably would rely more on someone else. Then I would be independent again. But I'm like, okay, those people, they're not race. They're man, person, and my attachment projecting to them, you know? So the moment when you stop like trying to understand other people and trying to figure out secret case why is this race behaves like this or why this race behaves like that, and the moment when you think that, oh, that's just me and how I present myself and set my boundaries with this person, I think that's the game changer for me personally too. Because recently been just too many transformations for me and deep conversations with ChatGPT. I really like this guy.
So what is your take? So it really depends on yourself or
Yeah, it really depends on yourself. It really depends on whether you want to blend with that person or not. But like if you blend with that person, he's not happy about it. And
but don't you think that the other person needs to bring the best part of you for you to willing to feel like you want to play with that guy?
He will take some part of me.
To bring the best part of you, so you want to plan the future with this person and to or like this person needs to do something or present in a way that makes you feel like you can be yourself, right?
Yeah, that person definitely have to make you feel comfortable and relaxed in the relationships. You don't want to perform always, but yeah, you also want to become better version of yourself.
So you believe that you're the driver and
no,
then
no. So I realized that you can be a driver for that person, but you can be a catalyst. Like, yeah, as long if that person wants to change, but he didn't have any role model in his life, let's say, right? Or if I want to change something in myself and then I see it in my partner, if I genuinely want to change, I just see him and I get inspired and I'm changing. It's not like that person is dragging me. It's not about this because that person will lose like a lot of amount of energy from his side to try to drag you to his level. So yeah, I think the healthiest way is that you see that person and you're inspired genuinely, and then you do. And that person may help you because he sees that you're starting doing changes on your own and it's not his initiative, you know?
That's deep. That's really deep.
That took me 5 years to realize it. All my dating experience, yeah, it took me long, but I'm happy that I discovered it because before, you know, just to share, it felt like really heavy on my back. It really felt like a huge bag with many stones. And yeah, the moment when you realize that, oh, I actually can let go and I actually don't have to direct anyone. and the the moment of acceptance coming, and you just
You
think
feel
that,
free. You feel free.
yeah, I'm free and I'm just myself. I don't have to like pour my energy to anywhere else. So I'm really, really happy to discover this.
Okay. Have you ever had to choose between your culture and your relationship?
I think once.
Once. Wow. Wow. Tell me more. Tell me more. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, because that happened when my dad didn't like the guy, you know. And
He saw the
he
picture
was,
and then he said, nope.
yep. He said like, nope, not with this guy. No, 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 no. I don't want this. And I'm
Okay.
like, yeah, so what's the matter? And then he said like, oh, you know, but this guy, he probably has this, that. I'm like, so what? I don't care. I just want to be with him.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I mean, we had a big argue, and I think at some point my dad say, okay, if you choose him, you don't go home back. And I'm like,
You don't need
whoa.
to come. Wow.
I'm like, Dad,
Okay.
okay, thanks, I guess. But yeah, so I still choose that guy anyway.
Yeah.
And my dad, he was pissed, you know, for some
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
And I think we
This,
even didn't talk for maybe a couple of weeks or so.
I think like going forward, your dad needs to help you to swipe on Hinge.
No, but that's, you know, it resonates with Indian culture. I don't know how they're doing right now, but I heard that before the parents will choose their partners for their kids, and yeah,
Arranged
there's
marriage.
just a
Yeah.
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 So it would be the same.
Yeah, it would be I don't know. I don't know like when you the definition of same, because I think they have a different structure.
Yeah, we don't go there. I've never been to India either, so
Yeah.
I have no
Yeah.
idea how they do it there. And
Yeah.
what about you?
No, I never had this had to choose between dating this person or my culture. I think I'm pretty flexible. I guess that something I don't compromise, and the things I don't compromise would be like your family would not force me to be part of a religious, or have me to kind of like carrying or share some family responsibilities. I think those things are probably too much for me. But other things I think I so far I find like it's fine. Like having dinners every week with a family, or celebrating some of the religious events like Easter's. Those things I'm totally fine. I'm happy to learn different cultures and then kind of like be grateful in the periods for
I see. Yeah, that's
yeah.
cool. It's good that you didn't choose between your culture and relationships.
Yeah, I guess in that sense I'm pretty lucky, because and then I like the only thing I need to do is to make sure that I'm happy, and then I have something that I can contribute to my partner or my partner's family. That's the most important things. Like the others, I think it's just like not really worth to mention. Do you think you would eventually have to go home to find a long-term partner after years living in a foreign land? Right. Yeah, okay, yeah. I feel you. Like every time I go to Chinatown, I just feel like, oh, yeah, all the cuisines. Yeah, I feel like so familiar. Yeah. It's yeah. Last time I went out with a group of friends, and 4 of us are actually Taiwanese. What an off, all right? Like we like when we sat there, I was like, "Are you Taiwanese?" And you're Taiwanese. And then someone brought a new friend to the group. I said, "Oh, she's also Taiwanese." Yeah. So and then I'm in Melbourne. So I guess yeah, it doesn't really matter. I think it's yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so you definitely think that right now, whether you want to choose a cross-cultural relationship, or just stay with your own cultures, it's just an options now, right? Yeah. So it all comes down to how this individual can handle all the all the events for the relationship, and then how willing these individuals to contribute, and then to maybe potentially sacrifice, right? Too many options. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I find that it's hard to find a person who willing to put that efforts into a relationship. I don't know. I think it's because subconsciously you just feel like, oh, there are other options out there, and then, oh, this person should feel lucky if I'm not going out, look for other options, for other potentials, right? And then so you just like, oh, when it comes to fight, people just like, oh, I don't like this, or we are not good fit. But sometimes it's not about whether you are good fit or not. It's more about like, hey, how are you going through this challenge? Because we all come from different backgrounds. You're not going to find the perfect fit. It's just nearly impossible. Like even a brother or sisters, they grew up in the same household. They're still very different. Yeah. Yeah. I think that it's more about whether whether you're mature enough to want to go through all the struggles with your partners or not, rather than like looking for a good fit. And then I don't know how. This is something I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, should we have more experience in dating or should we not? Because when you have more experience in dating, you kind of have better understanding of what works for you and what doesn't work for you. But at the meantime, you also train your muscles to grieve and to willing to give up, or willing to like to kind of to when you feel sad for multiple times, one day you just start feeling sad. It's like that's your practice, right? And then so I don't know how I feel about it, because for me it looks like if we want to commit it to a relationship, feeling sad and then feeling hard, it's kind of necessary. But if you have gone through too much of experience, it feels like you don't really get that same feelings anymore. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, like polish, more well-rounded, remove the edges, right? Yeah, oh, that's beautiful. Okay, well, thanks for thanks for jumping on the call, and that's quite a lot from you. Yeah, likewise. Hope that we all reach our goals, which it's not easy, but all the struggles will help us to learn. We'll close here. Have a nice day. Talk to you soon.